So that should be fun.
Oh, I can do that.
Dang it!
this looks really good. These cracks. This, I think I'll fill that with some glue and some sawdust. And this one as well. Fill them with some glue and sawdust. Maybe a little putty and sawdust. And now let's see if we can't take this apart. Get it all cleaned up. And look at this. What I thought was cards is actually some kind of bottles, like ink bottles possibly. So yeah, the oxalic acid worked very well. I'm not going to touch them because I need to rinse them off. And yeah, but we'll do that. We'll do that off camera. The loveliest girls in the whole world just gave me 4 duckies from my Jeep because they drove a Jeep and it was full of rubber duckies. And they were the sweetest people ever. Okay, so I rinsed off the little inserts and I'm going to let them dry overnight because I really soaked them down. And now I'm going to start working on the box itself. So I have taken it apart as far as off the hinges, but you can see that there's a big space in there. There's a lot of staining and dirt on the inside. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the top intact the way it is and clean it up and sand it. And this I am going to take apart. It does have nails, little round nails. So let's take it apart and yeah, we'll get a lot of work done on it. I will keep these nails and try to get them back in the original spot. That means I may have to do some gauging around the nail holes. I might have to put in a few shards of wood or some putty or whatever. Usually a little bit. Okay, wow. Yep. I broke a piece getting the side off and I have to find the other one. Yeah, bummer. That's it. So I'm first going to wash down the pieces with some white lightning, which is a degreaser. And then I'm going to go over it with a little bit of vinegar, just to be sure. I don't usually actually, I repair things before I wash them, but this is just in such poor condition. I think a little washing will make me feel better. I did glue a couple of pieces, but I found the other piece, so we'll save that. And so I'm just going to use a couple of the Huggies wipes with a little bit of vinegar. This is cleaning vinegar. It's a stronger formula.
consisted of the court announcing the verdict to the jury, and immediately asking the state whether they want to call their first sentencing witness.
Court's decision in Johnson versus State indicates that it's the statute that's in play at the time of sentencing. Because even though Johnson was sentenced in 2000, he was
The
resentenced.
sentencing statute.
Yes.
The parole statute is not a sentencing statute. The parole statute is a prohibition on parole.
Johnson, this court also considered the parole statute that was in effect at the time that Johnson was resentenced.
Is that the court?
So the only way to interpret life imprisonment is to look at the parole statute to determine whether or not there is parole eligibility under that statute.
So, counselor, how do you rectify the fact that one section of the statute says life and the other section says life without parole?
Interpret life imprisonment under that statute.
Says life. Or how do you rectify the fact that one section of this
It's interesting that the capital murder provision and the first degree murder provision are stated differently in the statute.
You think maybe that's because
The language, life imprisonment, under subsection 2B, which is the subsection we're operating under, life imprisonment means without parole, when you
tracks the law? Doesn't that seem like a problem for you, where we can't actually track the sentencing statute that the legislature chose? Which, by the way, is like,
life imprisonment not of parole. So it didn't actually, it didn't exactly say possibility of parole. And we know that without parole is the statute, which says that did track consider more questions to evaluate her, and he just wasn't finished with his evaluation when the state expert, Dr. Pickett, began his evaluation. And importantly for this point, again, is the fact that Greg didn't object to any of this occurring. There was never a point in time where the trial court said he was going to appoint experts to conduct Monotone evaluations that Greg said, no, we object to that, we don't want her evaluated, we're not going to plead insanity. Her only request at any time was that her expert evaluate her before the state's expert. But even when the state filed its formal written motion, though, I think that any argument she makes that she should not have been evaluated under Monotone before filing her 17.4B notice, booted by the fact that she herself acquiesced to her being Monotone evaluated even before filing that 17.4B notice.
Okay, here we go. Let me just change the matter. Sorry. And this was earlier, so I just want to remind you that no one is suggesting that she go free at all. I think this was in reference to Mackenzie Shirella. For local lawyers, no one there gets paroled after only 15 years. No one. I'm just pointing out the difference in sentencing for minors. They're tried as adults from state to state. This is Ohio versus Mississippi. Said, I'm so sick of parents claiming mental health issues when their child goes rogue. I raised thinking of maybe the Mackenzie Shirley case. That is not this case. Okay, let's get back to our vote.
I'd like to present your first sentencing witness. I'm not sure whether the litigants were even aware that was going to happen.
We're going to watch the sentencing phase again after we're done here, because I think there are a lot of people in the chat who have no idea what they're talking about. It's wild to me how so many people think about, especially like this whole Mackenzie Shirella thing. After just watching the documentary, not watching the trial, there's such strong opinion. It's crazy to me. And it's the same thing, I see it going on here in the chat. I think there's a lot of people who didn't watch the trial, and they're coming in, and it's just like she should spend the rest of her life in prison. She's a psychopath. It's why we really are out of touch with the seriousness of some mental illnesses and lack of proper health care.
Certainly don't see anything in the record where the sentencing order or anything like that outlines that was going to happen. Certainly, the defense was not afforded any due process to address those Miller factors. We would move or posit that Johnson is really inapposite to Carly's case. Another issue that we would point out, and I'm just going to read from my brief, the state's reliance on Johnson v. State is misguided. According to the state, I'm quoting from the state's brief, this court held in Johnson that the trial court thus, in harmony with Miller, section 97.312B, Carly Gregg's jury sent her to only after it considered the Miller factor. However, the trial in Johnson occurred in 2000, as I think Justice Coleman and Justice.
Because if it's underlined in someone's notes, but the only reason it was underlined is because it was a book title, and that's the way many of us were taught. Our kids don't even handwrite anything.
Mr. Murphy is not victim.
Pretty good. Okay, so I clamped everything and I had filled in some cracks with some putty. And I did do oxalic acid on the partitions. And these don't look bad. I sanded them and then filled them. So I'm going to go over them with some, I'm going to go over it with the orbital sander. And then I'll see what that looks like. We do have some glue here, so, and some oil stains. I'm going to see if that comes up with the sanding. If it doesn't, I'm not going to go crazy. It looks like I have to glue. No, this needs to be filled, actually. I should have filled it the other day. I have a couple more things to fill, but that's not too big of a deal. I'll fill over here as well. And so if it doesn't look too good, which, you know, it's an old box, so I'm not thinking it's going to be perfect by far. What I will do after I get them sanded and filled and all that, all the details, then I will put some oxalic acid on these, and probably, I'm thinking like it's late in the day, so I'll probably leave the oxalic acid on overnight. And this is just a white buffing pad.
Because it gave them the ability to pull up what actually happened. That's it. They don't deserve it. Then again, both don't really deserve it either because maybe just drop. Jonathan McCabe rap. You know, I know a lot of people weren't around back then. And I don't even remember it, but Proctor, questions for him, I'm sure. But anyway, so back changing directions here. A couple other things that have happened.
It was a binary choice here. You had the data report from the car. You had her emissions, like hit him. And I know what you're gonna say. Well, it was more a question. No, you put everything together, and it's so obvious. And then you have the other folks.
All I'm going to do is kind of go over it lightly with a little bit of steel wool. Let's just see how it goes. I am going to put more shellac on these, a nicer finish, and then I will wax them because I want them to slide in and out easily. Okay, I have the clamps loosely on, and what I did was I placed them where they fitted the best, I thought. Then I removed all the partitions, and you can see that when they lay on their sides, you know, they're all kind of different shapes, but these little, I would almost call them like little hickory ones, are much shorter than the birch. I believe that's birch, or it might even be cherry. It could actually be cherry, but you can see the difference there. I am so sad because these little hickory ones, the little dark ones. Okay. Just so that I can keep all the original to me parts, what I'm going to do is I have some really tiny nails and screws, and I'm going to try to put a few on the ends of the most loose hickory ones. That way, even though they won't technically fit, they will fit. So yeah. What do you think? What would you do? So that works. I'm going to add one on the top and one on the bottom, and here's how I do it. I'm using the tiniest one that I could find. That worked wonderfully. So they're very tightly in there on each side. And that's just what it needed. So even though you can see that it's not fitting end to end, it's definitely going to work to keep it in there. So y'all do that 3 more times. Or at least 2, right? That's good. Now, is this one going to go in as well? It's good that we have the glue on there. I think I need a charge on my mic, so this is going to dry overnight. It looks really good to me. I hope so. I did use a really small nail on the sides there, but hopefully the glue is going to help hold it. And only because I really didn't want to fracture the wood. The wood was really dry and crackly, and so I don't want to mar it at all. I'm so happy with the way this box came out. It was in really terrible condition, and we did a lot of repairs, filled a lot of holes, clamped a number of cracks, and we treated it with some generous oils so that it would stop cracking. And I shined up the hardware, which came out really nice, and the clip went on nicely. And you could keep any number of things in this little box. One thing that might be nice is to add some jewelry chains on the hinges so that it doesn't fall back open and perhaps crack where the hinges are again. But the piece is nice and oiled, and we did wax. And I've thought about a lot of different things to put in this box. You could keep soaps, nice soaps. You could possibly fit those in there. That might be nice to do. And I could keep my nicer paints in here. I don't have a lot of nicer fancy paints, but if I did, I could keep them in the box. Like so. And the partitions were a little bit of a struggle, but I came up with a very innovative way to remedy that, and that's by adding these little tiny jewelry nails on the end of each partition, and it slides in and out nicely. I did have to adjust some of the wider ones, and they won't come out as easily, but they're fitting in there very well. It's not pressing against the back or the front of the box so that it would create that crack. Again, it's nice and it's firm, but it's not stretched at all. We clamped and glued the box back together, and you can see the beautiful gold gilding wax on the hardware. And yeah, so tell me, do you like the box? And what would you use it for? Let's see if I can close it in this direction. So nice. Thank you so much for watching the video. Really, really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I wish you all good and beautiful things. Bye.
dynamite.